Welcome to another episode of the No Bull Biz TV and podcast show. Good morning. Welcome back to No Bull Biz, the podcast and the TV show. It's great to be back here today. This morning is January the 29th, 2020. Now, why is it an important day? Today in Canada, it is Bell Let's Talk Day.
Whether you're improving the way society cares for people with mental illness, or just taking time to care for your own mental health. When it comes to mental health, every action counts.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Crawford, and just at the Let's Talk Hope event here on the Bell Let's Talk Day here in Calgary. And I came out to this event today because I've been struggling with mental health for the last 4 years. And it's one of these things that everybody just kind of expects you to not talk about. And we have to talk about it because there's no difference in breaking our arm or breaking a leg. If we get sick, if we get injured, we see a doctor, we get better. And we got to break the stigma around mental health, and it starts with us starting the conversation and then keeping the conversation going. And I'm really proud of all the leadership here, especially Connie Jacob that started this event. And it's just really, really important that we have a safe place where we can come together, we can connect, and we can really have that conversation that everybody really needs to have at the end of the day. So it's been an awesome event. I'm an entrepreneur, and I run several companies, and so the biggest challenge for me is the dual awareness. And they talked about that today, how we really have to have dual awareness in order for us to have really good mental health. And so that was a big takeaway for me. And then also connection. We live in a world where we're so connected with technology, but we're so disconnected, and we all long for connection, and we need that safe place. And it's really cool to be here and have that safe place.
It's a day where we really focus in and we talk about mental health. We focus in and around all the issues surrounding mental health and our everyday lives. Now, it's important to me because it's very personal for me. And it's personal because I've struggled with mental health for the last 4 years. So about 4 years ago, I lost a company, went through a very dark and depressing time in my life. I went into an absolute depression, and tell you the truth, I didn't know how the hell I was going to get out of it. I just really didn't. And the reality is, if we break our leg, if we break our arm, if we break a bone, if we get sick, if we have an illness that's affecting other parts of our body and we're not well, we seek help, we go see the doctor, we see a specialist, and we get help. For some reason, there's this stigma around mental health, and we're just expected to get better. We're just expected to suck it up. And many people who have never struggled with it, that have never gone through it, don't understand it and don't respect it. That's the reality. And the truth is, until I started to struggle with mental health, I didn't get it. And now I get it. And now I'm passionate about it because it's affecting so many people today. Let's face it, we live in a crazy world. We've just had a very crazy week. The loss of Kobe and his daughter, and 7 other beautiful human beings in that accident. But there's accidents every single day all around the world, and human life is lost. People go into pain, people suffer, and many people begin to struggle with mental health. So why are we talking about this today? Well, the first action that you need to take if you're struggling with mental health, if you're not doing well, if you're struggling with anxiety, if you're struggling with depression, you got to talk about it. You got to find somebody that you can talk to. And the first real action that you can take in getting healthier and getting better is to face it, open up about it, and start to talk about it and have real conversations about the things, the issues that are surrounding you, that are affecting your mental health. And the next step is you got to seek help. You've got to get some help. There are professionals out there that are extremely talented and extremely gifted at helping people that are struggling in this area. And you're not going to get the help until you seek it out. Right? You need to get the help that you need in order to get better. And that is so incredibly important. So an individual that I've really studied over the last year or so is a young entrepreneur by the name of Ben Angel. And the guy is unbelievable. He has written a book called Unstoppable. He has a 90-day plan to biohack your mind and body for success. So you can grab his book on Amazon, and you can find him online. You can we'll put the link in the description here for you guys. And I'm going to share one of the articles, one of the videos where he talks about his story. And there's just this one paragraph that I want to share with you this morning with this article that's on entrepreneur.com. And he says, in my darkest hours of depression, I had immense hatred for myself. I hated myself for not being able to do the things I loved. I hated myself for barely being able to work due to mental exhaustion. And I hated myself because I felt like a fraud. For 15 years, I taught and written 3 books on self-help, and yet everything I taught failed. It didn't matter how healthy I ate, how much I worked out or read. I'd only ever get a quick boost of motivation before it ran out. And worse yet, I lost the thing that mattered most, my sense of self. Now, when I heard his story, I really resonated with that because, everything that I felt that defined me as a human being, as an entrepreneur, I had lost that when I lost my company back in 2016. It was the hardest thing I've ever gone through. Now, it's hard enough going through a loss like that in your life. But when you're defamed, when you're slandered, and you're attacked, and you're hit on a national scale, it hurts. And it got so bad and so dark for myself that I really didn't think I could come back from it. I didn't think I could. And so just 3 short months after I'd settled a bogus lawsuit with our largest investor with that company that happened to be a former family friend, I decided I was going to take my life. I'd walked down to the high-level bridge in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where so many people have lost their life over the years, lost their lives. And I had a divine appointment with a homeless man that was living off the bridge deck, and he completely threw me off course. And obviously I'm here today. Now, you can go through something like this in your life, and you can walk away from it, and you can get the help that you need, and you can move on, and you can go on to other things, and that's great. But I believe that when you figure something out and it impacts you, and it impacts your soul, and it impacts you at a deep, deep level that will forever change you, then you got to start talking about it. And you got to do something to help the next person that's going through it. Why? Because it's magic when you truly understand at the deepest level what somebody's going through. Think about it. The last time you had a conversation with somebody where They tried to explain to you what they were going through, and you just didn't get it. And the reason why you didn't get it is because you haven't walked those miles. You haven't been in their shoes. You haven't experienced it. So when you've been able to go through something like this, if you struggle with mental health, maybe you still struggle with mental health, but you've got it under control. Then you got to help the next person. It's our duty. It's our calling, if you will. You know, I truly believe that some of our biggest challenges in our life can become our greatest mission. They can become our best work, and they can become our biggest calling. So I encourage you today, as we focus in and around mental health here in Canada, doesn't matter where you are in the world today, start the conversation and keep the conversation going. You know, this isn't something that I talk about once in a while. This is something that's a big part of my life, and I'm going to continue to talk about it. And the more I talk about it, the better I get. The more I talk about it, the more mentally fit I become. And just like getting healthy and fit in other areas of our life, whether it's eating healthy, whether it's working out in the gym and working our muscles, we have to work our mental health as well. We have to train our minds, and we have to get mentally fit so we can fight through this crazy, dark world that we live in. And how do we make this world brighter? We make this world brighter by doing the things that we're doing today, by fighting for mental health and, you know, running events, that focus in and around these issues and bringing people together so we can keep this conversation going. So I'm going to give a shout out to Connie Jacob right here in Calgary. I had the privilege of meeting Connie last year, and she works very closely with my business coach, Abe Brown, and Connie is an absolute gem. And Connie's running the event here in Calgary today, all around this Bell Let's Talk Day movement, and I'm excited to be a part of that. So I'm going to be going to that event today, and we'll shoot some video and try and have some conversations today with people that have real stories and people that are passionate about helping other people that are struggling in and around this area. So I'm going to close things off by letting you hear personally from Ben Angel. And if you get a chance to connect with him online, do it. Pick up his book, Unstoppable. He's got an incredible 90-day plan on how to biohack your mind and body for success. And I can tell you by personal experience, it works. So take advantage of it. So here's Ben. Have an awesome day, guys. Let's start the conversation and let's keep it going.
To be honest, I really didn't know what to do at the time. It was in March of 2017 that I finally hit breaking point. I was experiencing brain fog, depression, fatigue, and it didn't matter how much personal development work I did, it just never stuck, and I couldn't work out why. And worse yet, I was constantly dizzy, I couldn't focus, I was procrastinating, exhausted. I had no sense of purpose or direction. I was a total shell of my former self, and it was getting worse by the day. And this is someone who'd previously written 3 books in the field of personal development and spoken on stage in front of thousands. And all of a sudden I find myself in a position where I can't focus and I'm filled with fear and anxiety all of the time. And I got even more disheartened hearing the self-help gurus yelling to quit making excuses. And what I now realize is that advice is bad at best and dangerous at worst because it fails to factor in any underlying issues that alter behaviors at an unconscious level. So I just kept asking myself, what's wrong with me? Why can't I fix this? Of all people, I know this stuff, I should be able to fix this. And that's when I finally realized that the problem is when we look at peak performers, we only look at their psychology, not the biochemistry that supports and fuels that peak performing psychology. And if you were to take a peak performer and deplete them of essential nutrients, they would suddenly become depressed, procrastinate, make excuses, and become lazy. And it wouldn't matter how much you told them to apply willpower, they would eventually run out of the mental energy required to maintain it, because their brain would no longer have the fuel it needed to process the psychological work that needed to be done. It's like having a car but no gas in the tank. And for months and months, I tried to get answers from doctors. I was desperate for help. So in a last-ditch attempt to get better, I set out on one of the hardest journeys of my life, a 90-day mission to biohack my mind and body back to health. With a little energy that I did have, I traveled the world to interview the top neuroscientists, doctors, and biohackers, including Dave Asprey. I underwent lab tests, tested smart drugs, and trialed wearable devices designed to reduce stress and reprogram my mind based on the latest research into neuroscience and biohacking. And what I found personally shocked me. Food sensitivities, inflammation, side effects from medication, nutritional deficiencies are altering our behavior more than any of us have realized. Our environment has changed, but our thinking hasn't. And the truth is, we can't become peak performers until we apply psychology and biochemistry in tandem. The two are interlinked, they can't be separated. One fuels the other, and the other depletes the first. And yet, the strategies that we're taught to improve our lives fail to factor in the changes in our environment that are having very serious implications on our mental health. If our symptoms are severe, we get medicated. But if the symptoms are mild, we get told it's all in our head, toughen up and just get on with the job. The problem is, nutritional deficiencies, toxins, inflammation, and side effects from medications are widespread and all mimic psychological disorders, including anxiety, depression, and aggression. And unless we address the root cause, we will continue to suffer. And on one hand, the medical field believes that the issue is a biochemical one. Then on the other, the self-help field believes it's mindset. The truth is it's both. Either way, we've been treating symptoms, not causes. You can medicate with self-help all you like I did. You may get better, but will you get well? Within 30 days of embarking on this journey, I started noticing a huge difference in energy and mental clarity. My brain fog cleared, I got my energy and drive back, and I finally felt happy for the first time in years. But most importantly, the incessant fear and worry that had plagued me before lifted, and I felt like myself again. And now through sharing my story in my book Unstoppable, I've been able to help thousands around the world finally work out what's really holding them back based on neuroscience, psychology, and biohacking, not theory and not wishful thinking. This has been by far one of the hardest projects I've ever worked on. To ensure accuracy, we hired 3 different medical researchers and editors to fact check everything. Then we put it to the test by sending the book to doctors, psychologists, clinical social workers, nutritionists, and even a former NFL player and world champion. I've been genuinely humbled by the overwhelming positive response. People are finally getting to the root of their rut and working out why they've been experiencing depression, anxiety, fear, and even aggression. And my mission now is to make sure that people don't suffer the way that I did. You don't have to accept fatigue, depression, and anxiety as your new normal. You just don't. It's time we uncover the real science of success so we can finally become unstoppable in every area of our lives. But to do so will require a paradigm shift that's been decades in the making. The research has caught up to our new world challenges, but our thinking certainly hasn't. And to those watching this who are filled with fear, have anxiety and depression, I will be your champion, because I remember how much I personally suffered in silence when I was going through this, unable to get answers from all of the professionals. So I will be here to support you.